If Israel is forced to stand alone, Israel will stand alone. Those were the words from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Holocaust Remembrance Day.
Today, as Israel paused to remember the 6 million lost in the Holocaust, it's once again in a fight for survival. Chris Mitchell reports on the latest developments in the ongoing war against Hamas.
Hamas announced the latest ceasefire talks have ended. The terror group insists on two key demands. One, the end of the war, and two, Israel completely pulls out of the Gaza Strip. Both are non-starters for Israel. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant addressed troops about the talks.
We are recognizing worrisome signals that Hamas is not planning to accept any deal or agreement with us. And that means the operation in Rafah and in the entire Gaza Strip in the very near future.
As a prelude to the incursion into Rafah, the IDF is sending leaflets telling civilians to leave for a humanitarian zone. Israel is preparing for their safety. On Sunday, Hamas launched a rocket attack on Israeli soldiers at the Kerem Shalom crossing for humanitarian aid. The attack killed 4 soldiers and wounded 9. Despite the continued attacks by the terror group, the Biden administration objects to any incursion into the last major Hamas stronghold. And Axios is reporting that the U.S. stopped a shipment of ammunition. Israel also closed the Qatar-based Al Jazeera News Bureau, calling it a Hamas mouthpiece that undermines the nation's security. At the annual commemoration for the Holocaust Sunday night, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu compared Israel's current struggle to the Holocaust.
Today, we again confront enemies bent on our destruction. I say to the leaders of the world, no amount of pressure, no decision by any international forum will stop Israel from defending itself.
Israel stands at a defining moment in its history, and Netanyahu pledged, if necessary, the Jewish state will stand alone.
As the Prime Minister of Israel, the one and only Jewish state, I pledge here today from Jerusalem on this Holocaust Remembrance Day, if Israel is forced to stand alone, Israel will stand alone.
On Monday morning, a siren sounded throughout the country. Traffic stopped and Israelis stood in silence to remember the 6 million who died in the Holocaust. With the number of threats surrounding Israel and the alarming rise of global anti-Semitism, some see an ominous parallel between Israel in 2024 and the 1930s in Germany. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Well, here's another parallel to World War II. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, when he was asked, could he make peace with Germany? Could he make peace with the Nazis? His response was unconditional surrender. There is no world where Nazi Germany is allowed to move forward. That was his condition for ending the war. It should be our stance with Hamas. Unconditional surrender. If you want to see peace in Gaza, if you want to see an end to the war, Hamas has to surrender, lay down their arms, give up the hostages. That should be the price that they pay for October 7th. They have been thoroughly defeated. They're the ones putting the citizens of Gaza at risk. Just imagine trying to provide humanitarian aid. You're an army battling a terror group who is the governing authority of Gaza, but you want to get food aid to their citizens. And so who attacks you? Well, the government of Gaza, Hamas, attacks Israel as it's trying to provide humanitarian aid. It's inconceivable that the world community would stand with Hamas. It just is mind-boggling to me that we have this, whether it's some international court or the UN, or now even our own government saying we're going to withhold ammunition. And all the protests on college campuses right here in America, I've got to say, are you kidding? Do you not understand the oppression that Hamas has its own citizens living under? All the humanitarian aid that has gone there over the years, all of it has been put into rockets, and into tunnels, into planning attacks against Israel. The portion that went into education for children educated them in how to kill Israelis. That was their dominant ideology. All of this has to stop, and it has to stop on our watch. This Monday, the day after Holocaust Remembrance Day, let us all vow, never again. Israel has a right to exist. Israel has a right to be safe within its borders.